Howdy everyone, this is Chad Hanna with Causes United, which, as everyone that has been tuning in has started to watch, that after about 5 weeks ago, when we started just having live chats, community gatherings, it has continued to evolve into bringing in nonprofits and public establishments that are within our local environment of Loxahatchee and the Acreage. So when that continued to evolve after our first just a time that started out on my dock in the back on the pond, and then those that were chiming in were hearing my roosters and hearing my goats, it turned into them asking that they'd like to maybe see some of those goats and see the chickens. And so the following week I brought everyone into the farm, and straight away, as I am generally established within the community, my family has been here for going on 5 years, and we opened our real estate office in the Acreage Plaza about 3 years ago, and then it turned into being part of the Acreage Bazaar each month. And Gail with Loxahatchee Lost and Found Pets, we started talking, and it turned into just a relationship that evolved into, let's talk about the nonprofits in these community gatherings, since I happen to have about 500 followers or so that are a lot of them locally based. And so I thought, you know what, right now, since the community gatherings came about because of the quarantine, as I call it, a quarantine lifestyle, as we are now adjusting deeper and deeper into, it turned into, okay, these nonprofits that are really in need of public support, public volunteers, they're not able to get that sort of attention at this time. Their volunteers don't necessarily come as often as they are able to, or the donations might not be coming in the form of people coming to utilize the gathering that normally they might come in and do a birthday party of sorts, and then get paid for that, and just have funds that are finding them on a regular basis, because as we are in solitude, more or less, we kind of might not look past our own four walls, and we still need to be looking past our four walls, especially to those establishments that are still actively serving the animals that are on their premises, in order to be able to serve once our walls open again and we get to be involved again. Those animals still needed to be eating, they still needed to be cared for veterinarily, they still needed to be cleaned up after. And so that turns into the type of presence that I feel that I just wanted to kind of take these weeks that we've been in solitude and say, let's take note of those that are in the quiet background that have served so many, and that have really helped children, especially that are in need. And when I say in need, there are children on the spectrum, there are children that are at risk, that have had a lot of soul touching, that only animals are really what they feel they can trust. And so these establishments that have animals really provide so many other dynamics to what they are giving back into the world. So today I'm at Delmar Farm, which is in Equine Sanctuary, and I'm going to bring Claudia Campbell out, who is the founder of this, in a little while. And I have actually enjoyed with my family a birthday party here, and we just had horse rides and painted the horses and washed the horses, and that was beautiful for my children to enjoy. And so I just wanted, it came to my mind as I went through, and I'll reflect on these past 5 weeks, because it really has meant a lot to me to be able to have this one moment that I come out each week, and I do so with complete social distancing, mindfulness, and I come to an area where no one else is on premises other than the founders of those establishments, and just let them speak on their own part about what they're enjoying, about what they're doing, and how it really fulfills them. So at this particular facility of Delmar Farm, there are over 40 animals. There are critter areas, there are where the horses are. This is actually also a certified donkey rescue adoption center. And so that in of itself is something that I've watched actually take place, where the horse trailer will arrive from a given place throughout the country, and 12 donkeys will come off that trailer and immediately be released into the front paddocks of Delmar Farm, and they have to kind of stretch their legs, they roll on the ground, they acquaint themselves with maybe a couple extra donkeys that are already on premises. You're going to meet one of those. I believe we will be able to take the tripod over, and you'll be able to meet these little guys. And I've watched even videos, if you are going to be looking to donate, because the establishment was formed before Facebook was offering the donation buttons. The means of donation to Delmar Farm is through the website. So there is a PayPal feature within that. That website is included within the website's page down halfway. Just click on that for a donation. For any comments that we do have for Delmar within these lives, we as a family business office, the Reach Estate office in the Acreage Plaza, we donate $1 for each of those comments, up to $50 as well. So each one of these weeks, we've actually raised over a couple $100 for each of the establishments that we are talking from the premises of. And this kind of brings us to the point of, how are you making the most of the opportunity of introspection and reincarnating your own soul when you have this time to go within, which not all of us have had with busy lives before. And now I've also equated the 40-day time to a Noah's Ark time of solitude, but that there was still a time of a year that went beyond the Noah's Ark story, that until that dove came with the olive branch was their reassurance that there was land to go and occupy and be part of again. So we are within those sensitive times of mindfulness as we go forward, and we're past our 40 days right now. So I know that there are a lot of emotions that go with processing through our experiences, and when you're going from that uncertainty into needing to feel that you have some level of control over how you're feeling about your experiences, doing something for someone else, and maybe even finding those that are out there that are in need to be recognized so that they can be supported while they are also experiencing everyone's kind of stepping away from the involvement that they were otherwise having within the establishments. That to me is the calling I have felt in these past handful of weeks, and I'm just kind of organically growing into that. Pardon me with the tripod, we had a little accident at my house today, but I'm just going to lean ourselves with a little bit of a chair and go with the flow on that. So essentially, I know that anything that grows organically is something that we can say is a divine calling of sorts. So with that being said, that's what this has taken form of. So initially my community gatherings were always in my personal Facebook page. And then because the organizations that we were promoting were basically also just saying the people that we're promoting you onto to be able to be joining in and commenting on, they're not being able to access the page. So we did it from within the Reach Estate sales office, EXP Realty office in the Acreage Plaza site. But because this is not a business gathering, I didn't feel comfortable with having the lives take place from within the business site, because I just wanted to make sure that it really had integrity associated with it. So now we created the Causes United Loxahatchee, the Acreage Facebook page. And so immediately within a week, we got over 100 followers on that. And so this is where we will hold our lives. But what we do after this is we take this whole video and we share it into many groups of those that are commonly coming together, always for a public cause. So there will be a sharing into the LLAFP, into the Barky Pines, into even the Acreage Hitching Post and the Acreage Poultry Swap and the Acreage Landowners. And these are organizations that are organized for the benefits of a common cause. And so Delmar Farms and Horses That Help and the Charmed Life and all of those with the type of organic lifestyles or the farming lifestyles or the produce lifestyles, I know that we're going to be going on site to many of these establishments to just kind of bring it more to life for people to really see what it takes to make this world of philanthropy really take form. So I'm going to digress a little bit and go right into introducing you to Claudia, because I know sometimes I speak a lot from my heart, which is what the community gatherings are always about, and I want to make sure that we stay engaged and we really do get the introduction to the wonderful story that is Claudia's, that has brought this establishment little by little. And really, when a local or when anyone starts a program, it takes so much heart, and it takes a vision, and it takes never giving up and having persistence. And so I know that by forming a family business in our community, it's everything we can do to have people appreciate that we're here trying to provide a service from a home basis that is accessible and that is sustained by neighbors. So in our local organizations that we're going to, we are visiting those that are within our Loxahatchee and Acreage community or very heavily involved in our community, because we matter. And when we come together and we really embrace the feeling of community, we will sustain ourselves at higher levels than anything that we have possibly experienced before. And so by coming to these local establishments and really appreciating the depth of hard work and the sweat and the anxiety even that it takes at nighttime for someone to wonder, how are my horses going to be fed tomorrow? How am I going to get the funds to take care of them? Because I know when I see children visit my establishment what they are getting from this. And then just to have that level of commitment, feeding 40 animals is no small feat. So that's what we are going to be talking about today when you meet Claudia. Now I'm going to step out of the frame so then she can be the one to be speaking, but the microphone is going to be fine. And basically, yeah, let's see what I can do about the tripod. But you're in view, and I'll step back over here. But mainly, just tell your story and where your heart comes from and how you feel you're inspired about everything.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm so happy to have you here again. I'm Claudia Campbell, and this is Delmar Farm. Basically, I've been here for 22 years, but I've officially been established as a nonprofit for just about a year and a half now. Always was involved with horses, always ran programs from my farm, used to be a trainer in a show barn in Wellington and up in New York, but my passion has always been about the horses that nobody wants, rescue, and I've always been an advocate of rescuing. My daughters and I have 10 rescue dogs, in addition to all the farm animals and horses. So it's always been sort of near and dear to me to kind of look out for the little guys, the little animals and the horses that nobody wants. It's really unfortunate how many people get animals and then don't want the responsibility or the cost anymore. So it's hard. It's up to people like myself, all the rescues that are all around the country really, that step up to the plate and take on those animals that nobody wants to keep anymore. So they're really all true heroes, the ones that go out there and do a lot of the dirty work. It's something that you sometimes don't want to see. But we have a really happy little mix here. Delmar Farm has become a sanctuary and a rescue, and we offer programs for children. We are evolving with our programs. I'm so eager to share what we do here with more and more groups of kids that it will benefit greatly. I know the animals here have touched so many lives and has made such a difference. It's so incredibly rewarding and heartwarming to hear parents praise what we do and love on the animals. It's been really hard lately with nobody here except for the few volunteers that come to the farm. I can see the animals definitely are craving more human interaction. They love when the children come, especially my donkeys and the critters. The horses are kind of like, hey, whatever. The donkeys are exceptional, and my critters, that's including a lot of rescue animals. We recently acquired a few more pigs. They're just so darling. And my little critter corner, which you guys will see soon, is one of my favorite parts of the farm now, because it's like becoming such a cute little area. and the kids just love it. So I'm constantly trying to add on to the structure and make it kind of whimsical. Like I want it to be sort of like a little Disney World for children when they come here, so they feel safe and they just really embrace what we have to offer, because I know it impacts their lives greatly. So hopefully you can get a feel of the animals. We're gonna take Chad to meet some of them,
and I'll tell you what I know about how you've spoken about everything is that it's about the children also, but it's also about the rescuing the soul of an animal that no longer is desired because they have served a purpose and they have an expense associated with themselves that really makes it, as you were telling me, an unattractive animal to most.
Yeah,
so
the undesirables.
The undesirables. And so we see so many, even in the human world, you have nursing homes and people that just are left to only be cared for by caretakers. And even those that visit a nursing home and just give some love to someone who's lonely, animals have souls too. So for them to be lonely also, just because they're not of value in a farm or as a farmhand of sorts, that's what Claudia is doing. So she is not only saving the animal and their happiness and letting them live out their golden years with that sort of cherished quality of life, but then that gets fed forward because also the elderly love children. Children are like the fountain of youth for the elderly. And so it gives them a second chance, but just the overall, omnipresence of being part of society, being part of a community of animals as well, it all harmonizes and it really brings sacredness to the spaces that we intentionally create. So you're doing a beautiful job with your intentions. Your heart is in so many of the right places. So we're calling just upon the community to think about that and to go to the website that is within the link, that is within the notice of this event today. Within that is the link to delmarfarm.org, I believe.
Delmarfarm.org,
is just simple as that. Delmarfarm.org, and that's where the PayPal is. The Facebook page has the donate feature there as well. So even though we don't have the donation button, like the easy to go to button on the advertisement, just know there are ways to get to it, and it's right there. We've presented it, made it very easy. But do whatever you can. But in the meantime, we want to have a fun time here today in getting to meet these wonderful souls. I see
creatures.
Your little one,
Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan. Popular Duncan.
I'm going
to
tell you a little
Tell
bit
the story
about
Duncan.
So Duncan is kind of like a little famous guy in his own right. Follow him on Instagram. It's Duncan _ mini _ donkey. I think that's what it is. And Delmar Farm also has a page on Instagram. Duncan has over 1,000 followers. And even when the kids come here, even the parents, when I have programs for kids, the parents don't want to leave because they love to interact not only with Duncan. Winston, the mini cow, has sort of gained a lot of fame around here as well. But Duncan is our little mascot, and we rescued him from a local rescue about 4 or 5 years ago. And when we got him, I was like, oh, this is great. He got along with the horses. But I said, well, I would find him another little donkey if there was a rescue out there. So that's how I came across Peaceful Valley Donkey Rescue, is who I'm an adoption center for. They're an amazing organization. And I became their South Florida satellite adoption center. So if you're ever interested in adopting donkeys, let me know, because I will put you in the right place. We can get you some donkeys. You'll see how amazing they are. So I blame Duncan because he's got this little aura. He is like this little old soul, even though he's not an old donkey. He just has this like aloof little personality, but he's the most gentle donkey, one of the most gentle animals I've ever met. With the children, with special needs children, he's like so unbelievably sensitive and gentle, and he always has to be in the mix. We recently were lucky enough to get new fencing through a donation that I'm so grateful for. So now he can't get out. So
yes.
Duncan used to have all his little ways of like getting out and being with, mingling. So now I have to literally open a gate for the little guy.
Whoa.
But we're going to definitely let everyone see.
Right, well, he's right behind that stall right there, and there's a beautiful white donkey there. That's not a common thing to be seen.
No, and literally we named him White Guy. So his name is White Guy. You can't forget that, because he's a white donkey.
And there's Duncan.
There's the little man.
I'm going to just come over to the fence over here, and here's that new fencing.
Yeah.
And also Claudia was talking about a electrician, if that is a forte of anyone that's watching or can be referred forward. but there's some electricity needs for some of the new structures that are going on. But there's Duncan right there, and there's White Guy, who's just in.
Here, Chunk, you want to come out? Come on down.
Oh, he might just come on over.
Come on,
there
little
we
guy.
go. Oh,
on,
how
little
sweet.
He's like, finally, somebody
Yes.
other than the regulars are here.
Oh,
Come
my
and mingle.
goodness.
Come on, little fella.
Oh, wow, he's just going to come on out.
He's going to come on out. Come on, little chunk. No, you guys stay there. Duncan is privileged.
Oh.
Okay. Dunk, you got to come all the way
There
up.
you go.
Okay,
I'm.
stay there, boys. You little guy.
Oh, look at this guy. Hi. I remember you.
That's the man.
Oh, my children painted on him, and one of the other ones also.
No, the mini horses.
The mini. Oh,
Yes.
the mini. Okay. Well, they're similar in size, but
Yes,
go ahead
they're-
and continue talking to Duncan.
So Duncan, this is his personality. He will always be around the children when they come here. I've watched him exhibit such an amazing little gentleness. He's just a special little guy, and because of him,
There are many other
donkeys,
adoptions
yeah.
that take place, which they're looking over the gate too. So I'll go and give them some love
He
and
rules the
recognition.
roost,
Here's White Guy, and
yeah.
here's
There's White Guy, and there's Bowie and Boo.
Bowie and Boo. It's
Yeah. Oh, they're like, what is that thing?
yes. Well,
Hi, babies.
I want to make sure everybody gets known. Yes. Hello.
So when the children come, not the younger children, but for most of the kids, we actually go inside
Yes.
and let them hug on them. And it's just amazing. The donkeys will surround the children and just be like embraced by these children. It's
Well,
amazing.
Everybody loves
Beautiful.
animals.
It's
Hi,
beautiful.
guys. Hello. It is always such a pleasure, even after we are live. I sometimes have to watch the video myself because I'm participating in this.
Uh-huh.
But then to reflect on it like what everybody else is being able to view it. So share these videos forward because they're such a pleasure to be able to really get out into the world when we're not able to get out into the world and still see that the reality is that they are still existing and they are still needing the love. And that is the love that these organizers and what Claudia is doing for Delmar Farms and for the donkey rescue and for everyone with Duncan and so forth, that's the love that's really happening and that it's existing while we are all at home and they are still needing to be fed. And if I may ask, is there a general figure that it kind of takes to sustain your farm by
month?
even feeding it monthly?
We're right about, I would say, 3,000. And that's not including my farrier was out here again today. I do a few horses every few weeks to sort of offset the cost, but of course now without anything going on, I'm lucky enough to have someone had donated. I've worked with a company that is wonderful. They make skincare products and they helped with a donation, and that's helping to feed the horses, but it'll last a couple months. So it's really difficult. The hay is a fortune here in Florida. The grain we buy, I'm on 4 different grains right now between my goats, the critters, the horses. We have seniors, so we feed a lot of different grains that are very not cheap. But it's just something that is always needed. It's hard to fundraise for horses to eat. It seems like more a specific need. Like we actually just made a GoFundMe. One of my volunteers did a GoFundMe. You can see the mud. We need more fill. We need the electricity to get the fans out there for the horses that stay outside. So there's always something that.
Well, there was also a goat
My
that needed
goat.
veterinary
We have
care. Is the goat in
Yeah,
the
you're gonna
stall
meet
here or
him.
in the critter corner?
He's out in the critter corner. Thank God he pulled through. He wouldn't have made it if we didn't act immediately. We have to rush him to the hospital. He was a little guy that we weren't intending to get. We were supposed to rescue this sheep who is out in the critter corner. And my friends who, they work at Lion Country, they offered to go pick up the sheep in Miami. And they sent me a picture of this little goat's face in the minivan. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the sheep. And they said, oh, you figured that out. I said, we're not allowed to take the goat. But I really thought the goat was going to be miserable without his little buddy, the sheep. It was kind of hurting my feelings that this little guy was going to be left there because they were not in a great situation. We took the goat.
Right.
So,
and that's how things
right.
happen.
And then this little guy, we've only had him, I think, we probably got them in the fall, I want to say. I don't even know where we are in the year. But he had what's called the urinary calculi. It's where they get like kidney stones. And it was like overnight. All of a sudden this little guy was lethargic, didn't want to eat, he was in pain, he was bloated. So we did, we treated him like it was a bloat situation, which it turned out not to be. We rushed him to an equine hospital. It's called Root and Riddle. For anybody with goats, they were amazing. Dr. Bestie. She was the treating veterinarian at Root and Riddle. It's an equine hospital in Wellington, but she works with goats as well. So they did a little tiny surgery, got some of the stones out, and then we treated him with a product called ammonium chloride. It's great to sort of acidify the stones and everything. So now we've rearranged their sleeping quarters at nighttime because we've separated now the goats, the sheep, the pigs and the cow and the goat, the one other donkey go all together.
So if
that costs more money to like rebuild. I mean, it's constant.
Well, I mean, if you're just listening to that story in of itself, first of all, I'm watching Duncan come over to the fan.
Yes.
And
he's a fanwich.
The thing is though, is that to bring fans out to the structures.
Yes.
That is a legitimate need, just to let them be comfortable. So he's just coming right over to the fan just to be near it. And, you know, the stories of what you're hearing just now, and do you want to walk us maybe to the goat or something? Well, you lead the way, because I know we're going to stay socially distant.
So we're going to do the critter corner first, and then we'll meet the horses, or do you want to see the horses first?
You're the hostess.
Okay, so
yes.
let's go to the critter corner.
But the one thing, and while Claudia is walking ahead of me, that I'll just kind of, you know, continue to bring to the attention is that, did you hear how many different types of animals she's actually hosting and caring for? A lot of the institutions are one animal or two animal type specialists, but this is an open world that is taking care of everyone that needs it, and that is a tremendous need. So here we are with the donkeys.
These are actually my miniature horses. Yep.
Pardon me.
They've been a staple figure here. I've had these minis for 21 years. They were little wild minis that were out in the field in Wellington, and many years ago we ended up going out there and grabbing a few, and they've been amazing with the younger children, with toddlers, with all my programs. The kids finger paint them, they wash them, they learn how to lead them, and they love it. They just love the attention.
It really is wonderful.
So we have these four. We have another mini on the other side, but he's a little boy, and he doesn't have the same manners that these guys have. He's adorable, and you'll see him later. But these are my little minis. They're all girls.
Oh, how beautiful! Yeah. Hi, little ladies.
Lucy,
I'm following
Peanut.
you. So Lucy.
That's Lucy, Peanut, Buffy, and that's Niblet with the leg wrap, the face mesh. She's a mess. She's ever since we've had her, she's prone to summer sores, and I half clipped her. I did a horrible job, but at least she's feeling cooler. So
well, she has a home, and she has food, and she has love, and there are a lot of us out there that might have all that going on, but still, when they have someone to love them, then that makes all the difference.
Yes.
So take us over to your critter corner. That's going to be amazing.
So this is all evolving.
It's always so exciting to do this.
I want to make like a cute little pathway out here, and just make it so that it's like the cuteness.
Well, there's always a vision.
The cuteness continues on until you're in here with these silly little critters who are all just so darling.
Hi, everyone.
So this is the critter corner. And we have, these are my newest additions. The baby, she's actually, God, we don't know how old she is. We pulled her from Animal Care and Control. She was known as the Lake Worth pig. She was in the news. And apparently she had been running wild in Lake Worth through the streets for a couple of weeks, and she became like the Lake Worth pig, just living on scraps in people's yards. And she ended up being caught by Animal Care and Control. Channel 12 News did a story on her. They wanted to come out here to do a follow-up story, but because of the coronavirus, they haven't been out yet. But anyway, she was definitely going to be someone's dinner because she's going to be huge.
Wow. Okay.
She's
so
not
how
a
old
potbelly.
is she?
Gosh, she's probably 4 months, maybe.
Okay.
I'm guessing. Look at these silly heads. Hi. But yeah, so she's going to be a very big girl, but she is just a darling. She was feral, but now she is like a little puppy. It's like having a puppy on the property.
Wow.
And then we have the other 4 pot bellies out here.
So another one that was saved.
Yeah, so the one that was just right here was a rehome. It was someone that had her as a pet, and she felt would you like to come in?
I would love to.
Okay, so just step over the hot wire. So this is for the dogs.
Gotcha. Right.
Okay. So come on in.
Let's do this.
Stay here, guys. Hi, guys.
This is the critter corner. You see the heart right there, and all about the love.
Stay here.
There we go.
All right.
I'll stay over here.
All right, so we've got, this is Dennis. This is the little guy who was not doing well a couple weeks ago, and thankfully he's back to normal.
Dennis is
this little blonde guy.
That's who I recognize.
And
yes.
that's his girlfriend, the sheep, that he followed into the van. He jumped in after her. This
is
Margot.
That's how they started. Hi,
so she
Margot.
is the.
Hi,
she is the little
You're going to be a
piggy
big girl.
That would. She was. Yeah. She's going to be probably the size of a small car.
Yes. Well, let's see. I'm going to have to go like this because she's walking all under me.
Oh my gosh.
That's
she's
okay.
Become such a little. She has so much personality.
And who's the big guy with the horns? What's his name?
So this is Ralph. And that's Penelope.
Hi, guys and gals.
I'm so glad that Bella has decided to pee and poo on camera.
That's okay. Goats don't have any
Winston.
self-control in that.
So this is our little guy. The flies are so bad. Winston is a miniature cow, and he was donated to me. He actually, it's kind of a funny story. He was purchased by someone when he was a baby, and they were sending him from Illinois. He was in a trailer with a bunch of livestock as a 2-month-old bottled baby. And the people changed their mind while he was en route. He was in a trailer for 5 days. They contacted me and said, do you want this little guy? He's in a trailer. He's coming down to Florida. They sent me a picture of him. Imagine him as 2 months old. And this is as big as he's going to get.
Wow.
He just celebrated his first birthday, April 2nd.
Happy birthday.
So he's been a great addition because the kids just love him. He's he's a mush.
He's furry and everything.
He's a little fluffy, yes.
What's the little pig's name, the Lake Worth pig?
That's Margot.
Margot was like trying to eat the tripod.
Yeah,
but that's okay. Pigs eat everything, and that's all right.
And this is Gretchen. She is the little pig we got the day after we got Margot. We got her just to keep her company. She was in someone's backyard thinking she was just a dog, and we ended up getting her, and now she's happy to be with animals like her. Tulip is just a sweet little girl. She's not happy with the rest of the donkeys, so she much prefers to be with this little crew. And she is super sweet.
And
little on the
I mean,
side.
this is like a cartoon.
Yes. So
it's really beautiful.
We have Rudolph, and then we have the other, there's Thumbelina, and there's Biscuit, and we have also one more pig. Olivia.
Look at this. I mean, when you're on Charlotte's Web movie or something, that's what I feel like I'm in the middle of right now. Because they all talk to each other, and you know that they're all telling stories at bedtime to each other and taking care of one another when one may know that the other one's feeling a certain way. So this is definitely a place of love. You can feel it all over the place.
And in here we want to build a cool little like ramps and like a little area for the goats that'll also serve as a shelter for Tulip and Winston. They all come in the barn at night. I never leave them out here because of predators, so they all come in their appropriate stalls at nighttime. If you go through my Facebook page, you'll see videos. It's adorable. They all know where to go. They go out here all together, but then they're separated at night when they come into the barn.
Wow.
And we've got Thumbelina over there, and that's Biscuit, and then one of my other little piggies she's in that little black house over there.
But Biscuit's on the bench?
Biscuit's on the bench.
Yes.
Hi, Gretchen.
Wow, how wonderful.
So she's also from Animal Care and Control, that black pig over there. And then the pink little nose, see the pink pig way over there?
Let's see if I can go over there.
She's inside that little black house over there.
Oh, yes, she's just hanging out, having sleep.
She was a little rescue as well. And it took a while for the 4 pigs to all get along, but now they do. So it works out. You know, you have to kind of give it time.
They have to be acclimated. That's what, the chickens have to do the same thing to each other when they're little and they come around each other. Exactly.
Hi. This little man right here. Winston's a licky head.
Hi. Hello. Yes. Oh my goodness. Let's see. There you go. Oh my word.
Hi, Gretchen. Hi, Margot. Yeah, see there.
Yes. Well, you know what? Farm animals are just friends, and when you come around, they want all the attention, and they also know that there's food, but they also know that there's love and affection happening. So
they all love like getting brushed and loveys, and so just to come out here and sit out here with them is just so calming and brings your blood pressure down. So you don't need your blood pressure medicine anymore.
Yeah, well, it is true, and that's why the children of special need and at risk find such value in what you're providing, Claudia. And so again, I'm going to continuously remind everyone that within the delmarfarm.org website and on the Facebook page there are the donation buttons, And so do look to do your best to be helpful, because it's one thing to come out into the farms and know that you're getting all the peace and love and hi, yes, you are a licker. But when you're getting all that love, you just don't realize that the bills are coming at the end of the month or each time that you have to pick up feed, and there's finances involved in that. So when you're hearing and that's okay. But when there's $3,000 a month just to feed, and that doesn't mean structure maintenance and electricity and structure buildings like the different environments that were being discussed about, dual purpose, where it would be a shelter as well as a place where they can play. And so when all of that takes place, you're talking about more money on top of the $3,000 a month. So when that's up to one person to make that happen, there is no shame in calling forward those that are the Samaritans of our community to do what they can. So even though someone may not be able to give $1,000 or $3,000, even giving $5 is a grassroots movement, that if there's 1,000 of you that will eventually see this video through how it's shared forward and you give $5 each, that takes care of all of it. So anything that everyone can always do just means we're doing our part. And that's what these live community gatherings are growing into with intention. And so whatever you can do to share these videos forward, because for Claudia to bring us into her world and into the world of the animals, you're actually seeing something behind the scenes. There couldn't have been a commentary that I could have given that would have brought that to life. So when that is what you are witnessing, you look into the eyes of these animals and you know that they would be hungry, or they would be unloved, or they would have been discarded or even euthanized if there wasn't someone like Claudia to be creating this world for them. So there's a lot of gratitude that goes to all these wonderful people that I'm meeting also as I bring this community gathering into the community and beyond our walls, or beyond just theoretical dialogue and conversation. I'm meeting beautiful people, I'm meeting beautiful animals, I'm hearing about amazing inspiration that it's taking for people to grow into their callings. And I know I have my own callings too, and but it has to harmonize with community, or it's not meant to sustain itself. So it's just a beautiful place, and there's a lot of you that are chiming in, and I love seeing words and likes and hearts and thumbs ups and everything that are just scrolling up throughout the dialogue that's going on here. And I think of different ways that I could bring this additionally to life and interaction, but it seems like the lives are the best way of doing that, because it gives anyone who is able to make the time. So make sure that within this video, when it's done, opt for the notification button that says that you'll be notified whenever we go live, because these gatherings are amazing. And as we continue to go forward into doing this with multiple establishments, there will be return visits into these establishments to see how they're progressing and growing and what the intention was and how it came alive after the community did come together. So if any of you know an electrician, that is one of the next big needs that are happening here right now, because the fans, the summer is coming and they need to have their fans. And today's a beautiful wind, but that wind will not be here in the summertime. These animals
the
will
horses
be hot.
that live outside primarily, they all have their sheds. So we were lucky enough to get enough donations recently for the stall fans, which still aren't hung because I want to make sure the electric is safe because it hasn't been checked in a while. And then the outside fans are waterproof, so we can put those in the sheds, but we need wiring. So we need someone to string the wire, make sure it's safe and it's underground, and we can hang those fans out there now that it's going to be 8 million degrees out.
But look at this beautiful fencing.
This was a donation from
forward?
a private family that I'm so grateful for. I mean, they were here to do a segment for the product, the Cora's products, that is now they're donating to me, which is the first of its kind, because I get a lot of individual people who have been grateful. I'm grateful for to donate some money, but now it's been like this was a gift. So, but if you saw the fence before this, you would understand the need.
Oh, I get it.
You saw it.
I have been
And my
here,
donkeys were always at my neighbors because the fence was. I was out here with duct tape and nails and trying to nail broken fence boards to rotted wood posts, and I mean, it was just a nightmare, and every day. So,
But you know what? The animals never saw that. They just saw someone coming and well, they saw it as they went past it and escaped.
Yes.
But they saw the one that was giving them their hugs and their bedtime kisses and they felt safe.
This is their family.
Right.
These are all...
You're keeping families together in the animal world. And I mean, I just am beside myself with how this experience is coming alive and what it's giving me the blessing of being able to witness.
You can see everyone doing there. You got this little guy licking the salt behind you. You got Dennis, and Dennis wouldn't be alive today if we, like I said, it was just so, we literally just scooped him up. I threw him in the back of my car and took him to the hospital. That's the little guy on the slide over there. Dennis.
Right.
And he's such a sweetheart. He was a rescue. I didn't even, I wasn't even supposed to get him, and yet we saved his life. So those are the feel-good stories.
Hi, baby. Well, I watched that take place on your Facebook page.
Hard, yeah.
So if you haven't liked the Delmar Farm Facebook page, like that as well. This little wonderful Lake Worth pig is just loving my tripod. So it's like he just goes and nibbles on it, which is totally okay, Margot. Hi, little piggies. Hello, Winston.
So shall we go and meet the horses now?
Take us along and let us meet the rest of the family.
They're going to nonchalantly try to follow us.
Right, they're just going to nudge.
Getting close to dinner time.
But this is the one that just lived from being whisked into the truck and taken for those surgeries discussed earlier. It's nice that you're here to be able to meet all of us. Say thank you, Claudia, for helping me. And the GoFundMe participants that helped that endeavor.
We didn't do one for him. It's hard to always ask, I try, but it's like, I hate asking for help, but you know what the bottom line is? All of us people who try to do this on a small scale, there's a lot of rescues out there, but they get they're public and they get so much help, but it's the little ones like myself and anyone else, these local guys. We do it because, I've mortgaged my house to keep these guys fed.
It's tremendous.
It's crazy.
It really is.
But it's hard to ask, but a lot of people will see it and help.
Well, that's what these videos are going to do. They're going to bring a little bit of light, and they're going to let you tell your own story, and they're going to let the heart be communicated, and let that love be shown, and let the purpose come alive in true results, which are what you're giving.
Yes.
Look, their eyes are just beautiful. My goodness.
He's such a baby face.
And when the doors open again, this is a place that you can come for birthday parties, that you can come for private therapies. So just know to utilize that as well. So it's not just a donation, but it's something in return that you're able to receive as well. Just to everyone know that service is a two-way street. I'm going to let you open the gate, and I will.
Here, you come around this
I'll
way,
just let her lick me or something while. Hi. I know what they do.
So watch your step over the electric.
Yes, for sure.
Stay here, little man.
And here we
Stay
go.
Here, little guy. Stay there. No, Winston.
There you
go.
go.
No, baby. Not yet, baby. Winston, baby. Okay.
A farmer's challenge.
Okay. How did I get shocked?
Oh, you got it?
Oh, you know why? Because I have this chain was touching it. I'll tell you what, this is some good hot wire.
Okay.
By the way, Wellington Fence was who did my fence job. This is their beautiful work. They are not on Facebook, but if you need their number, I will let you know. They were great. Beautiful fence job. Yes.
It really is.
Yes. Oh, and so in that area in there, you know what? We'll step into here. We can go in the minis area so you can see I call those the special needs ponies.
Okay. Special needs ponies is what we're about to see. And I'll be careful to step over electric wiring again, my goodness. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So there's also a program through the Solid Waste Authority where they have a recycled paint program, and as soon as things are back to normal, we're going to get this whole place painted. Thank God for programs like that. So, because it needs it.
Right. Well, farms are farms.
It needs a lot of work.
That's how it goes.
I think about my kitchen like I could have such a nice kitchen if I didn't have all these animals.
Well, you have all this love and they're living.
Wash my dishes by hand, no problem.
Hi, babies.
They gotta eat.
Hello.
That's Peanut.
Hi, Peanut. Yes. So who are you showing us to now?
So over here,
this is really, really wonderful.
So we've got this is like how they nap, their little heinies. So the small one, that's Tinkerbell. So she is actually a little founder pony. She's been on and off with kind of sometimes acute flare-ups, but she's on a very strict 4-week schedule of having her feet trimmed a certain way. We used to keep her in boots because she was so uncomfortable. Most people at this point would have put her down because she's about maybe 20 years old at this point, and she'll never be ridden again. She's basically an expensive pasture ornament because we have to keep her trimmed more than anyone else on the farm. But I could never say, that's it, time is up. She's a sweet little pony. So that's Tinkerbell. The one next to her.
Tinkerbell over here. That's the littler one.
That's the little one. So the one in the middle, that's Brandy. He is a...
Brandy's the one we rode.
Probably, yep. We probably use him for your children. So Brandy is 25. He's an older guy. He's got Cushing's, which is another very common issue for a lot of times the older horses. He thankfully shed out beautifully. If you saw him just a couple months ago, he had a super thick,
he was
curly hair.
Yes.
Yeah, they get the curly hair. But we call him the pink boy because he is a strawberry roan. That's where they have the red and white flecks of hair that makes them...
Let me go, you go to the fence. Let me come over here while you're talking because you're introducing us.
The one next to him, that's Chloe. She's 30 plus years old. She has arthritis. She's blind in one eye. Mostly, I would say, probably 90% blind in one side. Got the arthritis in her knee. Old girl. She was given to me from the show barn. So many years ago, before I was a mommy, I used to teach, and she was one of our little show ponies. So I took a lot of children to horse shows on that pony. We're talking 17 years ago. So I was at this barn in Wellington for 7 years, and she was one of our best fancy little ponies that taught a lot of kids how to ride. And many years ago, when she became arthritic, they couldn't use her anymore. And they called me because they know I'm a sucker. And they said,
I love her.
It was a nonprofit. Everyone uses her.
Right.
Do you want this pony? So I ended up taking her, and she's been with us ever since. And
well, I mean, think about that because you're talking about like a relative that you're getting a phone call about. Because if you were, when you were working in that environment, having that pony and a time of your life was being spent looking into her soul, having those mornings and afternoons with those children that are now 20-year-old children, 25-year-old children, they're graduating college, and that was their pony back then. You never know what you're experiencing today and how tomorrow comes, and you don't remember where you were yesterday. And you need to remember your yesterdays because there are still pieces of the world that are existing in that existence.
And so many of the students that used to ride with me back at the show barn are now grown-ups. They're mothers of, their mommies. I see them every now and then. Friends with a lot of them on Facebook, and every time there's a picture of Chloe on my farm's page on Facebook, oh my God, she looks great. I mean, it's nice because, but that's what I'm talking about. When I was a kid, I was 13 when I got my first horse, and she was a lame older horse at the farm up in Long Island, New York. They knew I loved this horse. I used to ride her. 4 years I rode her, and she ended up getting something called ringbone. So she was just chronically lame, and the farm called my parents, and they had told me I would get my first horse at 16, but I was only 13, and I said, please, they're going to send her to this place. Back then it was the glue factory. Any horses that weren't useful, they were going to the glue factory. So I said, please, Mom and Dad, can we, save her? Brought her home. I had 2 acres at my house in Long Island. So we got her, then I got her a little friend, a little pony. I worked at a farm, and I got this little pony for free. And that was the beginning of your intentions. Well, that horse's name, so my farm is Delmar Farm. Oh, wow. The Mar is from her. She was named Shalimar. So she was Mar, and then my horse of 20 years, who I came to Florida with originally, was Del Gamo. Okay. So I had Del and Mar. So Delmar Farm has been Delmar Farm for 22 years. Yes, yes. But it was because of my first 2 horses, and I lost him to colic many years ago. But had him for 20 years. But Shalimar, she was my first rescue as a child, and it was like, back then, I got this horse when I was 13. My father became ill with a brain tumor when I was 18. He died when I was 20. I worked at a company for 6 years. I got up every morning, went to the farm where she was after I couldn't keep her at my house anymore, took care of her, went home, showered, went to work, went home, took care of the horse, and she was retired. But I kept that horse. In her last year of her life, I put her in a retirement home on Long Island. It was about an hour from where I lived. It's about $250 back then. This is back in like the 90s. And I made sure that that horse was cared for until the day I had to put her to sleep. She kept laying down and didn't want to get up anymore. We knew it was time. But these are the things. So these days I hear about people, oh, the horse is 22 or 20, you know, it's a pasture, be a great companion horse. Nobody wants your companion horses. They want something that they can ride and, you know, it's saleable or whatever. So these older horses, please do the right thing. Send them to a retirement home. It might cost you a couple $100 a month. Do the right thing, because so many people don't know about slaughter.
Wow.
And we don't slaughter in this country, but we ship them out to Mexico and Canada. And these horses are destroyed. It's horrible. You'll see videos and stuff, things you'll never unsee. So that pony, for sure, most of these horses would be candidates for something like that because people don't want them. But the children, for these guys, for the kids, all these little minis, who wants a 20-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old miniature horse? I mean, I do.
Well, I'll tell you, when the world of spirit always talks about how you are closest to your knowing of the ethereal side of life, or the spirit side of life, when you're a baby or a child, or you're getting closer to your final moments. So you're very elderly or you're very young, know that energy of eternalness. And so these children that come here and they are with the older of the souls of the horses and the animals of all the ones that you met, they're connecting because they're closest to their spirit existence. And so that's a provision that Claudia is making available to be able to experience. And so when you for one are just saying, I'm just rescuing these animals so they don't get euthanized, and in your own private living room you might just say, well, that's the cycle of life. Well, it doesn't need to be the cycle of life if it's not yet their time and they're just alone because they have nowhere to be. So that's what Claudia, on one level of the dynamic of her establishment, is creating, but then she feeds it forward into the lives of those that come and interact, and then it all comes together and her story becomes what she envisioned when she first started all of this 22 years ago. And then as a child, when you're 13 years old, to have that first feeling, a lot of us know what we do now when we're 30s and 40s and 50s of age, that we're doing what, if we're lucky, we imagined when we were in our very youth, so our teenage world. And that's what Claudia is able to be living out right now. So congratulations on that to begin with. But again, in the website of delmarfarm.org, it's DELMAR farm.org, is the button for PayPal of contributions. Within the Facebook page, you can contribute as well. And so just know that the Causes United is a Facebook page now that will only have the fundraisers that we have conducted, the videos that we have conducted, the local establishments that are in need of recognition that are providing forward. And so you are going to see that there won't be a lot to have to scroll through to find one or another organization to be able to contribute to. So peruse through the Facebook page, Causes United Loxahatchee, the Acreage, and you'll see who our local establishments are and who you can keep your focus on the community and we ourselves to be empowered and strengthened. And so I know Claudia had to get out of the sun and walk past me at least 6 feet away, but you're going to walk us somewhere.
I'm going to show you the
in
big guys
finality
now.
At the big guys? Okay, let's do it.
So we have them in groups, and it's, you know, when you have horses, anybody who knows horses knows they're herd animals, they need company. But even with the donkeys, our policy with the donkey adoptions is if you don't already have equines on your property, you have to take two. I suggest even if you already have horses, take 2 donkeys.
Right.
4. Watch your step.
Here,
because even though my donkeys are with horses, which you didn't see because the horses are all clustered in a stall, they all hang out with each other. So it's funny how donkeys seem to prefer other donkeys. Horses, I think horses would love to have a donkey as a buddy, but they love to be with other horses as well.
Right.
So it's interesting to watch their behavior, establishing a pecking order, you know, when horses first meet, putting them in groups and seeing how they do. So it's always a great way to watch their behavior and see. And we could learn a lot from them.
Well,
But,
it's beautiful.
Unfortunately, you know, people sometimes don't understand that. Horses will take a while to get to know each other, and if a horse, you know, once in a while they're going to mess around, or if you put a new horse in a group, they're going to be fighting, there's going to be kicking, there's going to be whatever. You got to give it a little bit of time, the same way with my critters. You think they all got along right away? No, but we made it work because, you know, eventually, now they're a nice big happy family. They do all come into their stalls at night and go here,
I have seen that
go
video,
here.
and that was an amazing thing. You
It's ridiculous.
completely feel that you're on Charlotte's Web
It's
spot.
when I know I'm a lunatic because, like, not many people would
Say
do
that
what
nicely.
People say, leave him out. I'm like, no, because people are constantly, this was killed, my cat is missing. There's livestock out here, and it's not safe to leave the little guys out there. or
And
at least they
Delmar
need to
Farm
show-
is in Deer Run, which
Yes.
outskirts of Loxahatchee,
Yeah,
just
we have
west of
Coyote,
Seminole
yeah.
Pratt,
So in this stall, you can
right
see.
down the street from Lion Country Safari.
All right, so we have this big guy. He is the hardest. Well, he and one other horse here are my hard keepers. We got him, I think it's been 2 years now, a little over 2 years, maybe just 2 years. And I saw him at first. He was an older horse that was retired, a show jumper. And I said, wow, we're going to put some groceries on this horse. He was thin.
Wow.
I said, no,
He's
he's
big.
always been thin. He was a jumper. He's a big boy, very sweet. His name is Pele. We've had his teeth done by an equine dentist, and we were told he's closer to 30. So I'm thinking he might be like
Wow.
as old as 27-ish, which is pretty old for
He's
a big
holding
horse.
together well because he's got muscles.
He does. He doesn't really get ridden. You know, I mean, he's not scary thin, but I don't like seeing ribs. But
Okay.
man, he eats a lot, and he's just one of those. I wish I had his problem. So the pony next to him, that's Fina. She is 21-ish. She's actually quite a fancy little pony. She used to be a little show pony, and she's one of my best kids' ponies when the children come here. She's terrific. And the little guy, if you see that little face, excuse the poopy in here. They love to come inside to poop and then go back outside.
Yes.
So the little guy, that's Stuffins. So Stuffins is his buddy, and Stuffins
Oh,
is
look, here he is. Hi.
this
Hi,
is
Pele.
Pele. So you can see he's got some love bites because he loves the horse next to him, and she's like,
my
"Get
goodness.
away from me!" Yeah,
He's
so
coming to love me, and I'm walking away because I'm like, wait, hold on, I need to make sure
He's
you're
big
all
boy.
seeing in the video.
He's
But
17 hands and then some, and he's this
Hello.
big,
Yes.
gentle giant. But his little buddy, they play. It's adorable.
Wow.
So I mean, Stuffins can literally just walk right under his belly.
Yes, I just saw that. His
Yep.
head, he's like peeking through the
Yep.
belly.
But yeah,
indeed.
so they
Hi.
usually, even
Let's
sometimes
see.
all
Let's
of them
see.
will come
There's
into the
little
stall
Stuffins.
together.
Oh, they're doing a little
There's
round,
Fina.
little merry-go-round. Hi, Fina.
Hi, little Fina.
Oh my goodness.
They're making
You guys, do you realize the
cookie dough.
treat you're getting on this video? This is just wonderful. So when you're in your living room or you're making a meal and maybe you
With
didn't
the
watch
manure. Mm.
Right. Well, no. What you want to understand is that, you know, these lives, they like
And then
I
you
said,
look
they
across
go
the
for
hallway
like
and look at
they go for about an hour, these lives turn into, but there's so much beautiful content going on that if you pop in and out of the live, you may not catch all of it, but you can always watch it again afterwards and really catch
Yeah.
the purpose behind what's going on here.
So this is Lottie.
Lottie?
She's about, I want to say 15, and we acquired her. She was a free horse. No horse is ever free. We acquired her about 5 or 6 years ago, and when I got her, it turned out she had jockey club papers. She's a tattooed thoroughbred. She was actually owned by a polo player's girlfriend that I knew. I reached out to her. I said, "Do you remember this horse?" She said, "Oh my God, you have that horse." I said, "You actually taught the child who owned her before you."
Wow.
I used to teach her at the show bar. Like, it's such a small world. So she is a super horse. The only problem with this horse is we can't ever take her away from Pele, from the big horse.
Okay.
So you can ride her, she's terrific, but if you take her out away from him, he will literally jump out to
Okay.
I've never seen a horse more neurotic than him.
Wow.
You can take him away from her, but not her away from him. Usually they're in the stall together. This is kind of
And how did
unusual.
she come to you?
So someone took her on a lease, and it turned out she wasn't really what they wanted, and
Okay.
we ended up getting her. I had someone that was possibly going to lease her from me, but she didn't, and we kept her because she's not a special needs horse. She's a cribber, which makes her a little undesirable. That's a bad habit to have, but she's in, knock on wood, great health. She's not too old. She's sound. So she's a nice asset considering most of the horses here are well into their 20s. So it's nice to have something that's under 20.
Right.
And then behind you, this is the only horse on the property that does not belong to me. She is here in exchange for an amazing help. My good friend who owns her comes here. She'll probably be here before you're done. Her name is Susie. So my friend got her as a trail horse. Turned out to not be the best trail horse. And she is like the mother to all the little minis. So the minis and Susie are like a little happy family. And she's become Jamie's pasture ornament. A lot of those around. People get a horse to ride. They never ride them. They become a pasture ornament. But
well, I'll tell
beautiful.
you wind up like what I hear are that there are animals that have the purpose of what they're able to give to children, and there are those that are being saved, and then there are those that are companions to others. And so when Paley wouldn't be happy unless the other one is around, and the little Stuffins is always wanting to be the best friend, and then they all round robin with each other. That's just how their world gets to operate in a beautiful way that then makes everything that then comes forward when there are those times when the events are taking place, that they are peaceful animals to then be able to share forward that way.
Yes.
So are we going
now
somewhere
the rest of the
over here?
horses.
See you later, big guy and gals.
And you notice all these guys, the horses were in the stalls, the donkeys are all out in the shed together.
Yes,
So
right.
It's like their little donkey cluster. So this was a
here they are.
new thing. We just added that door to the end stall here because after Dennis recuperated, I switched all the goats to a different grain. It's especially made for goats.
Right.
And luckily this is
out there.
there's my little guy. So yes, the goat, it's a goat and sheep feed, and it has the ammonium chloride in it so that my other boy goats will eat it. All the goats are weathered. That means that the boys are fixed.
Right.
It's called being weathered. So this is a good feed because at least they're getting that. So if they, God forbid, any of the other ones have the stones, it'll help. But so we separated the goats. We separated Dennis and Bella, the sheep, the goat that was sick. They go together. 4 other goats go together. The 4 pigs, Winston and Tulip, all go in this little area. So they have the stall. Now that we added that door, they can go in and out, and it's become great for. And even maybe one day we'll add a little shelter out here for them because that's kind of tight if they all went in there. But these are the things I do to accommodate them.
Well, it's what it takes. Well, I mean, what I'm hearing all about, and you can walk us out to see the big guys too, but what I hear is that it takes a lot of, the intention is then a pursuit of the education, and the education is what makes everybody safe and well cared for. So there's so many levels to that type of commitment that you then wind up with this outcome, but it's not just an outcome of a bunch of animals that are being saved. It's an intentional environment that's creating safe haven.
It's making sure that they're like, you can't, I mean, it's easy to just throw them all together and throw caution in the wind and say, well, which, believe me, I would love to do that. It'd be a lot easier than having to put these in that stall and this, or just leave them outside at nighttime. But this way, peace of mind. I know they're safe. I know that they're all okay. They're happy. They're getting the right food, and so
food is a science for sure.
Yeah. So out here, these are the big boys. I mean, technically, there's really only 2 big boys because that guy out there, he's actually a pony. He's what we call. We have 2 out here. They're 2 paints. Timmy, come here, big guy. So Romeo, who's in the shed, is technically a pony because he is 14.2. At 14.3, a pony becomes a horse.
Wow, so he's 1 inch shy?
He is 1 inch shy. The same with Timmy. Timmy technically is about 14.3, but he's 20. That horse over there is. Yep, that's Timmy with the face mask. He's 26 years old.
Oh, and he's shiny and beautiful.
And these horses like never get brushed lately because. A shiny horse is a sign of a good, healthy, happy horse.
Wow.
So Romeo
then I noticed.
and Timmy, because of their height, we call them. It's funny. We call them a honey. It's a
Okay.
horse pony. It's not really a word, but there you go.
Well, there are created words all the time.
Yes. And Romeo is a younger guy. He's 13 now, so he was donated to me last year. The child outgrew him. He came from the west coast of Florida, and He's just amazing. I think you actually sat on him for your children's birthday.
Yes.
That's him.
Oh, that was him? Okay.
He's beautiful. He's sweet, and just a great asset to the farm because he picks up the slack. We don't do a lot of riding here, but for the programs where the kids do get to get on horses, he picks up the slack of Chloe, who's now retired. Timmy is 26. Pele's 27-ish. You know, so they're all getting up there.
I think they're just staying near the water. So we'll come to you guys.
So down here we have. He is a heartbreak. This big guy here.
Wow.
He's another giant. He's my gentle giant. This is Rumor.
Rumor.
He and my daughter celebrate the same birthday, but he just turned 17, where my daughter turned 16. It's a long story behind this guy, but
give us a little bit of it.
So many years ago, when I was pregnant with my now almost 14-year-old, I tried to breed, which was a big mistake. Don't ever breed. I had 2 mares that we tried to get pregnant by this amazing warm blood. He was a Pinto Oldenburg stallion that resided in California, and I knew a couple of his offspring here in Florida. This is way back when I thought I was still going to show and ride more, and now I know I don't even ride anymore. But
look how beautiful they are.
I wanted that big warm blood Pinto factor. So we finally got a horse after 2 attempts that had a baby, and he wasn't a Pinto. And at 12 days old, the baby died. And we did everything right. But he ended up having an infection inside his umbilical cord.
Okay.
That ended up, it must have been like a toxic shock, and it killed him. And it was the day before I had my daughter.
Oh my gosh.
So it was so tragic. The owner of the stallion, who lived in California, said she was so upset by it. She said, I have this homebred, that's Rumor. He's 3 years old. He's never been broke. He's been turned out. I'm going to send him to you as a gift because you've tried so hard to get this bloodline. Sends me this magnificent horse. He's the sweetest boy. He was a dream to ride. I mean, like, he was terrific. We barely did anything with that horse, and he has a genetic issue that's called navicular, that he is chronically lame. He can handle what I do with the programs of being led on a lead with a child on his back, and an adult can get on him and walk around.
Look how beautiful they are.
But he's only 17, and that's it. For the rest of his life, he's going to be lame. There are things you can do to help, but it's very expensive, and because we're not riding him, he's totally pasture sound. So that's his story.
He's got a life of love and peace, and that's what you're giving him. As it is, that's his story. Everyone has a story, and Claudia has her story, and that story has come alive into an establishment of peace and harmony, and a world that, when you're present here, you can really see just the purpose that is behind it. So each one of these establishments that you're going to come on just a journey with, as I continue to go forward in all of these videos, it's always going to be something where there's a purpose that comes alive and a witnessing to it that you're going to be able to just enjoy and embrace. So we've done a couple of horse establishments. We're going to be looking to visit next week. We'll actually go out to Barky Pines Rescue and go with Elizabeth and see her dogs and the establishment that takes place within, and you'll see another place of soulfulness. So the stories of each of these founders of these beautiful organizations have the story that Del and Mar, I learned today, are from her 2 first horses, and to learn of saving a horse when Claudia was 13 years old, and to know when you come into this environment and what you would support through your donations is giving what we all hope when we are of age, that someone takes that time to care for us and our animals. To those that are watching these sort of lives, they are within communities of those that care that deeply, and so you understand what's going on behind the endeavor. I'll just say quickly, on my mother's side, she had a few strays. It turned into 14 cats that she keeps in one spare bedroom and takes care of them because she tried to get them adopted and they're not able to get adopted, and they grew larger than anyone wanted to adopt, and so she became that person. And we're like, Mom, you've got your 3 house cats, and you've got your 14 other cats, and you've got the cats that maintain straightness outside, and she turned into like Snow White, who has a bird bath outside, and the birds come, and even the raccoons. I'm like, Mom, be careful of the raccoons. But she's like, they're so cute, and they come and they eat, and that they have a
Easy to
cycle
do.
amongst the animals, the birds and the cats and the raccoons, and even a possum and a chicken from a neighbor. I mean, it was just like, when that comes alive and you have that heart and you are a person of service, I'm witnessing service in action when I come to each of these establishments. So to pick up the phone, to make an intentional effort, when you see an organization that is trying to sustain itself and you see the purpose behind it, share that post forward. Promote something that you can, even if you're not the one donating, then find someone who can donate. And here comes Duncan again. He's just a lover. So it was a pleasure. If there's, would you say there's anything else to show?
We didn't meet. That's Hudson.
Well, then meet Hudson.
He's the last one. We got him last year. He's also been he's a starvation case that was picked up down south, and then we ended up getting
Hudson
him.
is over here.
He's the one.
He's the brown one over on the far side.
He's a great guy. I think he's 21 now, which is not really that old, but he's thoroughbred, and that is, to me, that's thin. But I mean, we separate him to feed him, but he lives in this herd of the boys, and they share their hay. We've had his teeth done twice. It's something that's really important with the older horses. If they're losing weight, check their teeth, because they can have pain and all sorts of stuff going on in their mouth that can cause them to eat much more slowly or drop a lot of their food or not chew it correctly. So we've got him on the right track. He's just one of those horses that you can never give him enough food. He would do much better by himself, but do you think he wants to be by himself?
Right, well, no one
I don't
wants
think
to
he cares
be.
that he's a little thick.
Exactly. He doesn't know what you know.
Right. He's
he
like,
just knows
I'm
he's
healthy.
got a
I want
home.
to be with my buddies. Yeah. So.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's okay. You got to sacrifice something for, making them happy in one way.
Right.
But yeah, so that's the boys, and then my little man, he's just
There's little
chilling.
Duncan. Well, then until the walls all open again and everyone is able to do things a little bit to a degree of the normalcy that we're used to, let's make sure not to forget the establishments that are still out here, that are still under the sunshine, that will still be hot without those fans if we don't get an electrician out here.
Yeah.
And so whether you are an electrician and you can do that in a responsible way and a verifiable way, or you're able to contribute toward that endeavor. But it is, again, a $3,000 endeavor just to feed this farm each month. So just any contribution counts. It is our pleasure to bring light and to bring reality to your story and your establishment. Let's just share this video forward. Let people now be able to kind of hop around in the video, fast forward, go back and forth, see where you loved one thing or another, and revisit the purpose that's going on behind. Because we got to go into a critter corner, we got to meet the donkeys, we got to meet Duncan, we got to meet the horses and the bigger horses, and hear about the stories of when they are ones that were what Claudia would tour when she was a teenager, into now they are here and they found their way back around. So her world comes in full circle many times, it seems, in this establishment. And I imagine that until next week, I'm Chad Hanna with Causes United. Like our page, follow it, make sure to press the button for the notification for whenever we go live, and we will be sure to make these videos purposeful, enjoyable, warm and fuzzy, and full of love and purpose. Have a beautiful day, week. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone. Take care. Thanks again, Claudia.
Thank you so much.